Well, welcome back to the channel for another little chat. Well, today I'm talking about a classic British TV show that ran for 9 years from 1968 to 1977, and they made 80 episodes. It was like half-hour comedy, and for our first one, it is Dad's Army. Some of them are missing and some of them are not in order. So our first one is Armed Might Be Labelled of Corporal Jones. This was transmitted from 11th of the 9th, and then we got the as you can see, the pictures on the back. And the next one is Backle School. This was shown from the 18th to the 9th, 1969. Now, going back to the first one I was talking about, it's Myanmar has ordered to cooperate with the AIP, which means dealing with that common Hodges. Meanwhile, Walker wants to borrow Jones's van for a spot of a blackmail market. And then the next one, the Backle School. Manwaring takes his men to a something training school weekend where they have to endure killer dogs, live gunfire, and an aerial Spanish captain, all on an empty stomach. And then for the final one on this one, the lion has found. This is from the 25th of the 9th, 69. Commandeered is the key, but Pike and Godfrey haven't a clue how to use the telephone. Oh, this is where they use. Meanwhile, Mannion decides a personal direction of the best method to use the telephone, and that is. And on the front, that is Captain Mainwaring. That's our first one with bonus. So for our second one, this is Sergeant Wilson, if I put my teeth in. And these stories are Bullet is Not for Firing, transmitted the 10th, 69. The platoon encounters a low-flying enemy aircraft and wastes its last bullets shooting at the German. Much to Manwaring's display, perhaps he should have had been snoozing. That's where it's firing at him. And the next one, Something Nasty in the Vault. Now this one was from the 9th of the 10th, 69. Following an air raid, Manwaring Warden for head first through the hole of the bank's floor. To make matters worse, they find themselves at the mercy of an unexploded bomb. Can the platoon save their skin? And they're holding this bomb, and our last one is Room at the Bottom, transmitted the 16th of the 10th, 69. HQ discovered that Manwaring has never had a commission, and furthermore that he appointed himself captain. To Wilson's delight, Manwaring's pips are removed, but how well the men cope without their pompous leader. And there it is in black and white at the bottom. And this is this too. Now for the next one, we've got the picture of Corporal Jones. And this is Big Gun, transmitted the 23rd of the 1069. The platoon received an unexpected new toy in the shape of a 13-pound naval fire gun. Manwaring sets his sights on bulldozing everything in the town that stands in the weapons for fire line, including the cricket scoreboard and the accidentally bandstand. So, as you can see the pictures. Now for our next one, it's the day of the balloon went up, transmitted on the 30th of the 1069. When the Vestris gets an unexplained caught up in a rope of a barrage balloon, the platoon rushed to his rescue, but in the event soon becomes fragile when Manwaring gets hoisted up too, cause they chase it on to bringing a floodish captain down before he meets his final end. So there's Manwaring, as you could see, if you could see with him there hanging on there. And for a final one, what was the 6th of 1169, the war dance. Now Pipe has fallen in love with a wren, common violet grib, and he's decided to announce his engagement at the Home Guard dance. Meanwhile, Manwaring asks Wilson to take responsibility of the boy and tell him to earn his way. And he really causes trouble at it because they try and stop Pikey from announcing. And here we have the picture of Corporal Pipe, and this is I think this is still season 1. Now this is the manage from the deep. The men are put in charge of a pump fire gun post, but they are soon left standing when the boat ship way to sea, taking I think it's like taking away to sea, taking the telephone down line. While a mole corps doesn't bring the rescue team. Only an angry Warden Hodges and a lot more trouble. I don't know if this is where they bring down the wire of a telephone pole and that, and I'm not sure about that. I'm just trying to read it, but I got a bit muddled. Now the next one is Banding, 20th of 1169. Meanwhile, rescue to account, Godfrey resign after all his role as making tea maker made him into something to the platoon. But when the rest of the men find out that he was a constant objector During World War One, Godfrey immediately gets sent to Coventry, and even a slice of upside down cake cannot win the others. So he was he didn't want to fight in the First World War, Godfrey, and the platoon found out about it and they sent him to Coventry. Now for our last one on this one, Manhunt, transmitted on the 27th of the 11th, 69. So Walker attempts to find for a down pat, but he can't it into 8 dozen pairs of ladies' knickers. Decide to disguise if it was caught, but a British or German. Meanwhile, Manmurray bravely attempts to get to the bottom of things in more ways than one. So, as you see, Walker's up to his old tricks, selling women's underwear, because he was did on the thing. Now for the next one, it's Godfrey. Good old Godfrey. Now, this one's called No Spring for Fraser. During a routine weapon inspector, Fraser discovers he's lost the butterfly spring in his Lewis gun, but the old fool thinks he has planted it in a box in his workshop for safety, but not any old box, but inspired a coffin that now has been in new ownership. See what happens. Fraser was an undertaker, and the story was they thought the spring was in the coffin of this dead person. So as you see them at the top trying to get it. So the next one is Sons of the Sea. When the bank customer pass away, leaving a boat in paying off his overdraft, Manmurray decides that the platoon can use it for river patrol. The trouble is the men aren't very comfortable sailors, and that soon finds themselves drifting helplessly out to sea. As you can see them, because what happens, they end up in the sea thinking that, and then they get to land thinking they're in Germany, in France, but really they're in England. So for our next one is the big parade. This was 25th of the 9th, 1970, and Manmurray and Hodges are at war over who will start the Spitfire Fun Parade. Captain Manmurray is determined to lead the way after all his plans to use Private Sponge's ram as a mascot. And that's that was that one. And for our next one is we've got Fraser on the front, and this is that was we're on season 4, so we've had, hold on, let's have a look. Season 1, season 2, season 3, and season 3. Because some of them are missing, because that's why it's all. So we're on season 4, and it's episode 2, 3 and 4. So, Don't Forget to Drive, this is called, and it's the 2nd of the 10th, 1970. Man-marrying men must put their military wits against an Eastgate platoon in a Home Guard exhibition, while Square's men holds up at the windmill. They need to lay a high explosive like bomb outside being delayed or spotted by the tricky Verger. It's the Verger, what I was trying to think. Because he's trying to stop them and that. And as you can see, Jonesy's in there. The water thing, I can't think what they're called. Now, the next one is Boots to Boots. Meanwhile, Man-marrying's men to put their best foot forward and intend a series of groaning activities and hard their souls. Tired with all the exercise, the platoon decide to make Man-marrying's feet impinging by replacing his regular boots with a smaller pair. As you can, if you could see that picture, Pike and Fraser have had put faces on the feet. So, because what they do, they go to the shop where with Man-marrying goes, and they sort of change his boots, so they're a smaller pair. So, this next one is called Sergeant Save the Boy. A routine to the Harris Orchard holiday home hunt. Potty gets trapped in a bog barbed wire in the middle of a minefield. Fear for his life, Man-marrying insists his men to undergo the dangerous rescue mission before the tide comes in, and there's Pike in there. And what happens? They're coming one way, and Godfrey comes the other way, where it's all safe to go. So that's the end of that one. So this one is season 4, 5, 6, and 7. Don't fence me in. This is from the 23rd of the 10th, 1970. Robert, I can't pronounce the place, platoon, is given a task to guard a large group of Italian prisoners, but when Walker is overheard talking to the POWs about a tunnel escape, meanwhile believes his private is a fifth colonist and decides to catch him red-handed, because what he was doing, he was using the prisoner awards for helping him do some work for his black market dealing. And for our next one, Absolute Friends, 30th of the 10th, 1970. Wilson is left in charge, but when the captain arrives back early, he's horrified to find his men in the pub playing darts instead of being on parade. He even more in turn when the platoon is called upon to to arrest an RAA suspect because the police are all in the pub too. So they all end up in trouble and that. And for a final one is Put That Light Out from the 6th of the 11th, 1970. Jonesy, Pike, Fraser. Jones, Pike, Godfrey and Fraser are on night watch during duty in a lighthouse when an accidentally ill-fated and the whole town with a air raids brings, and Memory and Co have to find a way to turn out the light before too late. So what happens? They're on this lighthouse, and the lighthouse starts, the light cart, so they're going round holding a blanket trying to stop it showing. Now for our next one is season 4, 8, 9 and 10. Now this is called The Tooth and a Half Feathers, transmitted on the 13th of the 11th, 1970. An old army colleague of Jonesy, George Clark, joins the platoon, but rather than being pleased to see each other, the man, shameless and mischievous, dislike and his old friend's secret. Eager to clear his name, Jonesy comes clean about the Battle of Umbm. Because what happened, George Clark, Corporal Clark, was having an affair with the captain's wife. There you can see the captain, that's Manwaring, and he had to he went somewhere to find out if they were still alive so he could tell the truth. So the next story is Mummy's Boy. This is the 20th of the 11th, 1970. When the Home Guard introduced female members to sew on buttons and make tea, the men are quite discarded and even strangely laced. Captain Manwaring has his head turned by one of the ladies and falls unexpectedly in love with her. This is when there's having women come and join the platoon. And if you can see the ladies there. Now for our final one, The Test. This is from the 27th of the 11th, 1970. The ARP challenges the Home Guard to a game of cricket, but Hodges has drafted in a professional player to help them win. It looks desperate for the platoon until the ARP loses their ace and Godfrey steps up to the wicket. There you go, because it was a famous cricketer at the time, and Hodges thought he could beat them, but in the end the Home Guard wins. And for our next one, this is called A. Wilson, Manager, from the 4th of the 12th, 1970. And this is season 4, 11, 12 and 13. Manwaring first are referred when he discovers that Wilson has been appointed manager of the Eastgate branch of the bank. To add insult to injury, Sergeant Wilson is also leaving the Warmington platoon to join Captain Square's men, because he's got a commission and that, and Wilson's not not Wilson, Captain Mainwaring's not very happy. So for our next one, uninvited guests. This is 11th of the 12th, 1970. So the AIP headquarters is bombed and Mainwaring's platoon is forced to share the church hall with Hodges and his air raid wardens. While Mainwaring and Hodges battle it in the office, the wardens and private turn into a heat in the hall. Now this is going to be our final one of this section. Falling Idiot. When the Warmington Home Guard take a weekend course on how to use live explosives, Captain Mannion becomes all toffee nose and insists to sleep apart from the other ranks. Only an unexplained heroine can save him in the eyes of the platoon. Now this is where, as you can see, he's slightly drunk, because what happens, he goes to have a drink with all the captains, and they made him do the drink of the Pope of such and such, and he got drunk and he fell over. So this is where I'm going to end my first part of Dad's Army, and we will continue this later. So this is my short interlude for Dad's Army Part 1, and if you enjoy this, stay tuned for the next instalment of Dad's Army, and I wish you farewell.